Good morning, everyone. We begin with chanting universal well-being. May I abide in well-being, in freedom from affliction, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may I maintain well-being in myself. May everyone abide in well-being, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may they maintain well-being in themselves. May all beings release from all suffering, and may they not be parted from the good fortune they have attained. When they act upon intention, all beings are the owners of their action, and inherit its results. Their future is born from such action, companion to such action, and results will be their home. All actions with intention, be they skillful or harmful, of such acts there will be the heirs. So, recently in our retreat in the monastery, we have a kind of ongoing discussion about importance of in fact that we are still in the stage of bridging, and all of us bridging in different ways than the Dharma, and we have a meeting with Reverend Sher. He kind of pointed out the three different aspects of the building the bridges between East and West, between Asian and modernity, and tradition, and he framed skillful means. And I reflecting on this topic a lot, of course, as a bridge person to some extent as well, being born in Poland, wearing the Tang Dynasty robes. Definitely you can see in the first look, oh, this guy is interesting combination of different culture traditions. I can say that three aspects are just in the first look visible. And that I reflecting on this, and it's not that we want to have a question to have one on other aspect. Do we need to have tradition, or maybe just be more modern and progressive? In as I observing and being in their BA, they both happening spontaneously together. I was very struck. I recently read an article, also by Polish monk, Zen monk, who lives in Japan. And the title of the article is with the question mark, is it the end of the Zen in Japan? He provocatively started the article saying that in the modern time we're facing a lot of difficulties in terms of the disappearing different species, kind of disappearing the rainforest, ice caps also vanishing. And one of the place what can disappear is Zen in Japan. It's only 5 monasteries right now. They have more than 10 monks. And he gave a lot of uh, causes, what bring this to this situation right now, one of the traditional, one of the modern, is it's very interesting knowing that some of these changes happen, I think, in the called the Meiji period. It was from 1872 to 1876. Was destroyed 20,000 monasteries in Japan, and all the monks were forced to return to lay life, to become the whole householders. And results of it is that any in the future abbot of the monastery wanted to inherit the temple for the children. And as a result of it, even right now, 95% of the priests are born to priesthood. So it's kind of inherit from the lineage, from the father to the son, a tradition. And the problem is, like he says, the many sons doesn't want to continue from different reasons, the tradition. And of course, it's a lot of current modern issues that most young people move from the village areas to the cities, and so the temples doesn't have enough support, mostly located in the kind of remote areas. And of course, the pandemic right now has become very challenging, created a very challenging time. And of course, that in the modern part, the secularity of the society and so forth create a situation that no more people interested practicing the Dharma. Probably, of course, Japan has a specific history and so forth, but I think this aspect happening here in the West as well. We can see the many temples we cannot see young people. They're not very interested from of cultivation. But the important point of this Zen monk was raising the question of ending the Zen in Japan. He says that we in the West need East to kind of continue and survive. Because the many generations of the Zen teachers in the West have a chance to and access to traditional Zen training, intensive practice, which is difficult to find in the West. Like he says that in Japan, like 365 a day, starting with the morning ceremony and the chanting. Is probably not the case in the West very often. And for him also, another very important aspect, what we here in discussion also noticed, the role of community, that every participants who come into the monastery learning how to act and become as a one body with community. And especially for the Westerners, it's very important to kind of let go this individualistic way of being. Let go of individual preferences, opinions, and so forth. Kind of immerse in the kind of continue practice as a whole group. All the works are maintained together by the whole community. All the practices, everything is done with the group. And it's not, as we know in the West, it's not always the case. We are very individualistically focused. So he go on and on. It's a kind of long article, like he's saying that we need East to survive in the West, and probably East also we need a West, because the many the teachers who came to West noticed that the urge for cultivation, for practice is quite inspiring in the Western practitioners, which not is always a case in the kind of more traditional settings. That is more kind of a traditional obligation to practicing certain rituals and so forth. Here is kind of very deep engagement in America and Europe for people who really want to meditate, who really want to practice. And this back me to our reflections, what we're doing here together, that the traditional approach and kind of more progressive approach coexist in the monastery moment by moment, or then day by day. But even Master Hua can step out, even go deeper, not just stay with the culture and try to mix the two cultures with each other, but go kind of beyond, or reveal the culture, what is very reveal or refine the culture, what is very important, to back to the essence of the teachings, what is the Dharma Vinaya. This is the kind of the holder, the heartbeat of the monastery. And the dharmic aspect is the importance of the sutras. That in the sutras is the kind of the I can say bridges what can help to develop this inherent wisdom with everyone who study them. And we study all together, right? This is like almost every day we have some lectures when people are engaged with the text of the Buddha, the words of the Buddha. And of course, Dharma and Vinaya, like we every day in the morning start our ceremony with saying that we always will wear the precept sash. And I think it's not just kind of visible external aspect that we're precept sash, but we're wearing in the precept sash in our heart, moment by moment. Not just monastic wearing the precept sash, but those who have 8 precepts, they're wearing 8 precepts. They always, the 8 precepts is any thought, any moment. So the precepts are bringing to the mind ground. And we have this both, the precepts, and we have the Dharma. I think that the two, East and West, tradition and modernity, can easily find their own space and place and balance each other, and helps us to transform. Depends of the needs of the person and so forth. See, the times is go on, so maybe I stop here. It's still the, of course, we are in the process to thinking what is the middle way, or how to skillfully bridge East and West, tradition and modernity, and we are working on progress with that. Okay. So now is the 3 steps, 1 bow practice, and we'll be finished with that, our morning session.